that easy.
No, absolutely not. Consider my timber shivered. All right, tonight we're talking about the greatest pirate that has ever lived, that we've all heard about literally our entire lives. Every trawler is related to him, and there's whole towns and schools named after him. The big old Jean Lafitte. Yeah! Woo!
We're not talking about Jack Sparrow?
No, we're not talking about Jack Sparrow. Jack Sparrow ain't got nothing on this guy.
Not happening. Sorry.
Jack Sparrow's the greatest one.
No, he's not.
Oh my goodness.
No, he's not.
Clearly.
So,
his intro is perfect.
Yeah.
Can't get better than that.
Yeah. Perfect intro.
who's intro?
He literally has a ship that was brought back
Yeah.
after being burnt,
Yeah.
and
Being
people
burnt,
terrorized after
being
seeing it.
sunk.
We were talking about a Disney movie, though, by the way.
Captain by the Dead. You know?
How dare you?
Anyways. Nick, as you were.
As I will be. So, Jean Lafitte are known by his nickname, the Terror of the Gulf. Yeah. He had other nicknames, but that was the most noticeable one.
Sick.
That's a pretty badass nickname.
Yeah, it is. He's
The Gulf of what?
The Gulf of Mexico.
the Gulf of Mexico at the time, Lionel, but now in today's world, the Gulf of America. Just to inform you. Yes. Okay. Honestly, at the time, it might not have even been the Gulf of Mexico, but I think it was.
It was the pond. Mexico.
Yes. So, yeah. So he is quite the gumbo pot of mystery, thievery, and heroism. Which, yeah, you wouldn't think that those two words, thievery and heroism, would go together in the same sentence, but
Anti-hero.
those
Actually, I can think of one.
anti-hero, there you go.
Robin Hood.
Of course, Allie got it. Great.
These two words couldn't better describe this man. Because if it wasn't for this man, we probably, like Alex said, we definitely would not have New Orleans. We definitely probably would not have the state of Louisiana, and it goes beyond that. But we'll get to that at some point.
Of course.
Yep. I had no idea
Person.
until I started researching this man. I had no idea that he was as big as a contributor to the country as a whole as he is now.
Oh yeah.
But I digress. So Jean Lafitte was born between 1778 and 1780 in, you can pretty much say, the moon right now, and it wouldn't be that far-fetched. Because there is several different areas where he is believed to have been born. Most places say, yes, most places say he was born in either Biarritz, France, or in the French colony of Saint-Domingue, which is now currently Haiti. But
So he's from France.
so I would say yes, he's from France.
You got the entire Atlantic Ocean separated.
Yeah.
Where was he actually born?
Yeah.
You know.
So he claims himself to have born in either Bayonne, France, or he actually has a brother. I did not know he had a brother.
Yep.
He worked with a brother. His name was Pierre Lafitte. He claims that they were both born in Bordeaux, France. And even more stuff say that he was born in the French Quarter and lived here his entire life, but had French as his main language. So
Sweet Maria.
yeah, it's
How did that happen?
yeah, it's nobody really knows, but I would say
He was born.
He was born.
The
He
man was a
born.
time
The
traveler.
man was born. That's all you need to know. And between 1778 and 1780, nobody really knows the exact date.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Alec had said, this as a pirate and as a criminal, he was very well versed in keeping information about himself contained, so nobody knew about him.
Oh yeah.
Other than what we're gonna get into as far as his efforts, but personal life, dude, good luck if you want to research this for yourself.
Lesser known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know about his birth.
We know that he was born.
We know he was born.
Yeah.
After he was born, I mean, you can pretty much.
exist.
He did in fact exist. After he was born, you can throw a dart at a wall with pages on it, and whatever it lands on, that we can go with that because nobody knows. We skip all the way to 1805, where he and his brother, he and his brother Pierre land up in Louisiana when the family moved over. And then eventually they found their way to New Orleans, where they started working in a warehouse. At this time in the early 1800s, bartering and trade was big, including foreign trade with foreign items. So the Lafittes decided to take this opportunity to dabble into this bartering and trading as well, because it was a booming business at the time. But instead of doing it legally, as we know our little boy John Lafitte, they decided to do it illegally, smuggling.
Sensational.
Yep. So together, they would eventually dabble in this warehouse and begin smuggling goods and foreign goods and local goods, as well as also enslaves people as well. However, in 1807, I think it was 1808, excuse me, the U.S. passed the act prohibiting the importation of slaves of 1807. And that act sought to prevent exactly what it's called.
Yeah, human trafficking.
Human trafficking, the importation of foreign slaves. But there's also some speculation that the slavery did not end there. They also just used local people.
Yeah.
So being that this was outlawed, it was another way for the Lafittes to dabble their toes in the smuggling. They used the goods, like I said, and then they also worked in the slave trade as well. So they did this for a while, and they were quite successful. But another act was passed in 1807, which was the Embargo Act of 1807, and that sought to prevent foreign goods from being traded in America. And it also prevented American ships from docking at U.S. foreign ports. Essentially, they wanted to stop the British from coming, or foreign goods or anything foreign coming here. Because at the time, there was the Napoleonic Wars happening in Europe. And what they would do is, I guess, because American shipping was big at the time, especially in the area of the Atlantic, in this particular area of the Atlantic, they would the European ships would capture the American merchantmen and their ships, and they would pretty much force them to fight for them. So this was happening a lot. So that's what that Embargo Act of 1807 essentially set out to do, was to cut that out. Now, the Embargo Act of 1807 also, like I said, put a stop to the foreign trade. And that made the smuggling quite difficult for Lafitte and his brother. So instead of working in New Orleans, they decided to take their business elsewhere, further down south.
Take my talents.
Yeah. Now, do y'all happen to know where that's at?
Down the bayou.
Literally down the bayou.
Bayou Lafourche.
Yeah, you laugh, but they actually use Bayou Lafourche. Literally up and down Bayou Lafourche. But we'll get to that point. Okay. So, trying to find a new area that was easier to do this illegal activity.
The Caribbean?
No.
Okay.
Still in Louisiana.
Oh.
Right next to an island that we're all familiar with, Grand Isle.
Chenier, dude.
Somewhere around there, Chenier Caminada.
Moody.
But he set up shop on the island of Grand Terre.
Oh, damn.
And in Barataria Bay, which is in between Grand Terre and Grand Isle. This was a prime spot because it was far away from the New Orleans customs agents.
Yeah, essentially the eyes of New Orleans.
The eyes of New Orleans and any naval base.
Cool.
Because this also was not long after they made the Louisiana Purchase in 1803. So whenever they did that, they had a lot of agents, customs officials, whatever you want to call it, patrolling the areas at the time. So this was such an isolated area in the swamp and in the marsh, it was perfect. So they set up a deal, or not a deal, an arrangement to where Jean Lafitte would settle and spend most of his time in Barataria trading and basically acting as the middleman, while Pierre remained in New Orleans and looking over that interest there. So what would happen is Jean would stay in Barataria and conduct the trades and the selling of these goods and smugglers here, and then transport it through bayous and marshes and swamp and canals in the swamp via pirogue and barges. En cachette, undercover, and send it to Pierre in New Orleans, and he would disperse it among the New Orleans merchants from there.
So en cachette is the second.
It wasn't,
French
but we
word
can
of
use
the-
it.
Okay.
So en cachette, French word of the day, undercover or unseen, trying to do something hidden.
Oh shit.
En cachette.
Oh,
En cachette.
cachette.
Ouais.
Yeah.
Uncle shit.
Yes.
No, not Uncle Chet.
Uncle
Chet.
Uncle Chet.
Uncle shit.
Use your nose.
Yep.
Shit.
Okay, so over time, this area of Barataria and this smuggling operation that they set up became bigger and bigger and bigger. They gained lots and lots of followers, eventually growing to almost 1,000 people. Just other pirates and other local merchants in the area. And he also cut a deal with the enslaved people that he was trading, that they could work for him. And if they would work for him, he would not sell them, transport them for sale.
Yeah.
So he basically let them work for free. So this became a humongous organization, and these people eventually, the people that was working with him, became known as the Baratarians. And Jean Lafitte became their leader, and this is when he earned the title Captain Jean Lafitte Lionel. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
May bless you,
Captain.
bad.
May God bless.
That's Captain Sir.
Captain Sir.
That's what.
All right.
Sir.
Mr. Sir.
Or did you say sir because you own an area in the United Kingdom and a person,
That is a lord.
a lord? Okay, sorry.
Lord
Okay.
Captain Sir.
Lord Captain Sir. Thank
Lord
you.
Captain Sir Lionel, as you were. Nick,
Yes, sir.
You will.
as you were.
So
As you should be.
eventually, transporting the goods became to be a bit of an issue through the marsh and the swamp. It became risky. It became dangerous. You know, the snakes, the alligators, the landscape, the moniguans would tick, which was my other word of the day. Moniguan, which is a mosquito.
Mariguan.
Mariguan is a mosquito. Well,
A mosquito. So they got tired of
Cajun
working.
words today.
Yes.
well.
So they got tired of working in the marsh. They got tired of traveling through the marsh. It was just beginning to do too much. So they developed the attitude of let's work smarter, not harder. Why not? So in October of 1812, the Lafitte brothers purchased a schooner.
Fun fact, the schooner is the same type ship that the Black Pearl is in the Pirates of the Caribbean series.
Picture a pirate ship, smaller. That's what a schooner is.
Hmm.
So they purchased a schooner and they hired a pirate by the name of Trey Cook. There's not much known about him except he was just a pirate.
What?
And he captained their first ship. So, and in January of 1813, the Lafitte's took their first ship, which was a British brig that contained nearly 80 slaves and mountains of other cargo.
Good lord.
Yeah. So they would sell the slaves, they would sell the cargo, and they profited about $18,000 back
Yeah, that's
then,
a
which is
lot back then.
what monstrous money back then. And being the generous men that they were, they returned the ship to the crew. Bare bones, but here's your ship, guys. You can go back home.
Big money grip, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm wrong on that. Yeah,
You
I
false
falsed
information
it.
to us?
No, This was not the one that they returned to the men. They didn't return this one to the men. They kept this ship. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Sick. So they added it to their
Excuse
fleet.
me.
Wow.
Huh?
They added it to their fleet.
They added it to the fleet. This was
Sensational.
their first ship of their fleet. They used the money that they profited from sailing, the sales, and upgraded it and called it the Dorada. So they used the Dorada to raid other boats at sea.
Just find you.
Yep.
Yeah.
And would continue the smuggling operations and channel it through Barataria. So eventually, over time, they acquired 2 more ships to their fleet, naming them La Diligente and the Petit Milan, or Milan, however you want to say it. So that was their fleet, the 3 ships, the Dorada, the La Diligente, and the Petit Milan.
I could imagine them like literally stealing the uniforms. Now, their whole crew's just like trying to be presentable, and they got that one guy, you know, we'll call him Chuck. You know, even though it's not an 1800s name, we'll call him Chuck. And like Jean Lafitte's walking on the deck, and he's like, Chuck, tuck in your shirt. What you doing? We're trying to blend in. Come on.
Exactly.
Then they pull up to the other boat, and Chuck got his hat a little bit sideways. Firefight ensues.
Yeah, you gotta straighten that thing out, man. I mean, look at it. What are we trying to do here?
Blame it on Chuck.
Yes.
You know?
He's just drunk off a rum.
Of course.
Yes.
Completely, like, class A down.
Well, his drunk Uncle Carl's great-great-grandpa.
That's where the drunk Uncle Carl originated
It
from.
makes sense.
Chuck.
Yeah.
Chuck.
Yeah.
Chuck and Carl, hey, we'll start with a C.
That makes sense.
Marvelous Adventures of Chuck and Carl.
Sensational.
Yep.
We're adding to the lore.
Yes.
Yeah.
That the drunk Uncle Carl actually is a descendant of Jean Lafitte.
It makes sense.
Yep,
He does on a
100%.
boat.
I was about to ask if he owned the troll boat.
It doesn't float, but he has one.
Exactly.
Yeah, this bilge boat
Yeah.
broke.
Don't lowball him. He knows what he got.
Yeah, he knows what he
Yeah,
got.
exactly.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, all right.
all right. So the brothers would use these 3 ships, and they would use.
Brothers use 3 ships.
Okay.
Continue.
All right. So they would use these 3 ships, Lionel,
Continue.
and transport them to New Orleans instead of through the swamps that they was originally doing. And they did this through Baye Lafourche. What you got?
Not doing it.
You want to say something?
I'm just sitting here. Listen. Just listening to your story.
Okay. So they would use.
Keep it.
Oh,
I'm there.
Okay.
I'm on the ship.
My whole hand is in your pocket.
gotcha.
I have both hands in your pocket.
In one pocket.
I'm here with it.
Yeah. So
Eyes are closed. I'm in the crow's nest. I'm on the.
yeah, take your shoes off, get comfortable, dude.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
How did you get in the crow's nest, by the way?
I climbed.
Duh.
Come on.
Was there Baja Blast up there?
Yeah. What I got.
There was just a Taco Bell sign. That's all we
Yeah,
needed. They didn't need no Baja Blast.
I was tricked into being on this ship. I was promised Baja Blast. They only give me like 1 a week.
I only
It's not
got
enough.
Baja blasted.
I was about to say that. Damn it.
So
As
And
you were,
also-
Nick. As
Okay.
you were.
As you will.
So
As you are.
as I am
As you
currently,
shall be.
am I as I am?
you should be.
am.
Am I am? I will.
3 eggs and ham.
Okay, yes. As I am, they used Bayou Lafourche and other major waterways to transport the goods from Barataria to New Orleans.
Sensational.
Yes. And they were quite successful. However, you may begin to wonder, because right now they're trading illegal stolen stuff. So going back to New Orleans, where they got all these ports, these big ports, these customs agents roaming around, how did they get this to work? So what they did was they made a shipping manifest that contained all the illegal stuff, but they would purchase and they would use outside provisions from actual New Orleans, the actual city, and they would essentially camouflage their cargo. So they would have the New Orleans the legal purchased
Yeah.
out in plain sight, and the illegal stuff was hidden because they knew that these customs agents were not very worried about anything that was traded in New Orleans because the Embargo Act was just passed. So they were more worried about foreign stuff. So anything that they would see with New Orleans items, they're like, ah, man, no, go ahead.
So they strategically transported
This
and expedited it to an alternative location.
Yes.
Sensational.
Acronym of STOLE.
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 They
Yes.
steal it.
Steal it.
Yeah.
All right.
Steal.
So this operation continued for a while, and then now we're going to go back in time a little bit.
Okay.
So in the background of all this going on,
Bag it up.
bag it up,
Bag it up.
the War of 18...
Bagging it up. Bagging it up.
The War of 1812 was raging on right now between the United States and Britain. Most of the battle taking place on the East Coast. However, over time, throughout the months, the British ships started making their way further and further into the Gulf. They did not fully invade at this point, but they started having some making their way. They was scouting, exactly. That's a good way to put it.
Making their way downtown.
Mm-hmm.
This
was-
fast.
Yes. This was the British Royal Navy, and let me tell you what, bro, these guys were not to be messed with.
No, it's a well-oiled war machine.
Yes.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Fun fact, the Royal Navy was the world's most powerful maritime force from the early 18th century until after World War II, often maintaining a fleet larger than the next two strongest nations combined. It dominated global oceans, secured the British Empire, and secured trade routes with over 136 ships of the line in the early 19th century.
No.
Yeah. So they were like, don't screw with these guys. And the U.S., however, had nowhere near close to an armory that the British had.
No.
I think they maybe had 13 naval ships in total.
Yeah, I mean, that's how the British ended up colonizing so much of the world.
Yeah, and the
Yep.
British, I think they had over 1,000 ships.
Yeah.
Heavily armed to the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
So acting governor at the time, Thomas B. Robertson, which was replacing Governor William Claiborne for a short leave. He was the governor of New Orleans and Louisiana. Excuse me, Louisiana.
Because the capital used to be in New Orleans.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Just for anybody that didn't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they were all aware of, John Lafitte's operation going on. They were all aware of the smuggling. They just never really paid no mind to it because of the war going on.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Small.
Exactly. Like, this dude's not killing nobody. He's just stealing. I mean, that's, he's just typical pirate, whatever.
What?
But eventually they got sick of it. So Thomas Robertson wanted to put an end to Lafitte and his operation in Barataria. However, he knew that the people of New Orleans wouldn't be where they are kind of like without him, because he provided them with luxurious offerings, foreign stuff that they couldn't get their hands on. I mean, Lafitte was basically their local hero. They saw him as a hero for them because he supplied them with furnishings. I mean, a lot of things.
Exotic animals.
Animals.
Relics.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff.
At a cheap price.
Similar to a Cajun Robin Hood, something like that.
Pretty much, dude.
Yeah. So he felt pressured to kind of impose on the Lafitte brothers because of that reason right there. He didn't want to upset the New Orleans people. So he decided to use them another way. And that was to legally hire them to be pirates.
Yep.
And they did this through what is called as a letter of marque, which basically allowed them to be legal pirates, which is known as a privateer.
I was about to ask, is it a privateer?
It is a privateer.
Sensational.
Yep. And
Here.
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 yeah. So this hear ye.
Is that a Hellcat, sir?
Did the guillotine? Dilly.
Yep. So they were able to raid and capture foreign ships. Foreign ships. You got it, Lionel? You got it?
Still there. Cannonball flew by my head. Crow's nest. Still there.
Stay in the crow's nest. I got you,
I'm
buddy.
there.
We're not gonna let you
Not
get
getting
hurt.
down. Too
Ship
drunk.
sailing.
Ships sailing, bro. We
Sailing
flying
down.
right now.
We just stole some shit.
We about to raid another one, bro. Get ready.
Never left the crow's nest. Too drunk.
Pull them
Need my
binoculars
Baja
out. Make sure you looking.
Blast. Oh yeah, I see land everywhere. Shiver me timbers.
So we're docked.
Yeah, that's why I see the land. It's right there.
Clearly.
Don't even need the binoculars. I already know that. Land ho, shiver me timbers. We're here.
Okay, so the contract that allowed them to become privateers was they would raid the foreign ships, all the foreign ones, including the British, mainly the British,
Fuck the
all of
British.
them.
Yeah.
So the contract was, or the deal was, for them to raid the ships, take everything, and America would take majority of the percentage of the profits that were made by selling this cargo.
Yeah, so they were essentially taxing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Great.
And the
Typical.
and Lafitte and his guys could keep like a small percentage of it. But America keeping the biggest. Yeah. But we are dealing with pirates here, so it's not that simple.
No.
It's never that easy.
No, absolutely not. Consider my timbers shivered.
I'm glad I can shiver your timbers, bro.
Ayo.
So what they did was they gave the Americans, the British cargo that they raided. They gave all of the British stuff to them. But what they did was they would keep any other European ships. They would keep all that for themselves, and they would bring it to Barataria. So they was like, yeah, your deal was basically that we would invade the British ships. That's what you really wanted us to do. You didn't say nothing about the ship from Poland.
Well,
So as the American returns got less and less and less, they started to become pretty suspicious and caught on what was going on. So they realized that the Lafitte brothers were not acting honorably to the contract and taking everything back to Barataria.
I mean, they
Shock.
are pirates.
Yeah.
They are pirates, which I don't know why they didn't expect that to begin
Yeah, I
with.
know, right?
You mean the pirate
They're
wasn't honest?
privateers.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes. Privateers.
Yeah.
They're pirates.
If
He
you take-
really loved that term privateer
Hey,
because he can do illegal stuff legally.
Yeah.
So he loved it. And then,
Yeah.
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 So whenever the U.S. became, I guess, fully aware that, okay, right, they're not being honest here. They're not giving us what we're supposed to be getting. They wanted to take that Barataria operation and completely obliviate it, erase it, done with it. We finished. I got no more patience for this guy.
Jokes on you.
Yes. So in November of 1812, the U.S. District Attorney John R. Grimes sent 40 soldiers to Barataria for the capture of Jean Lafitte and his men. Because they didn't have, this is sad, by the way, they didn't have a fleet big enough
No.
to invade Barataria.
Nope.
How in the world are you going to fight against the British if you can't even invade a bay of acting pirates? So they had to send 40 soldiers.
Yeah, so you got a bunch of people in some chalons,
Not
like 3 chalons taking on 50 cargo ships.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what it's like.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Jean, Pierre, and 25 Baratarians were arrested and imprisoned in New Orleans. But whenever the bail posted, they still had all this money from all this sales. So they bailed themselves right out of there, buddy.
Joke's on you, we out.
Yep.
how much is
Oh,
my
yeah.
bail? 2,000 gold.
Yep. So they bailed themselves out
Got
of
that in
jail.
my pocket.
Yeah.
I'm not walking
There's
around money.
Shiny gold shilling.
Parry this, ye filthy casual.
Yes, 100%. Parry this, Claiborne. Boom. Let me out.
I got 2,000 in my sock right now. If you let me bend down and get it.
And if you don't, I'm gonna take it off, tie it off, and smash
beat
you.
Yeah.
Boy.
How would you like a giraffe?
So when they bailed out of jail, they returned back to Barataria and kept that operation going. So as you can imagine, the United States was getting heated at this. So William Claiborne, now returning as acting governor of Louisiana, became outraged that Lafitte and his guys, even though they were arrested and captured, they still had those zero regard for the law. So what he did was, this is my favorite part of all this, right?
Moye, dude.
Good. Right before you do that.
What you got?
Imagine Imagine they got all this money from stealing all the stuff. Obviously,
Yes.
they bailed themselves out with it. Imagine later that night,
They go and take
one
the
of the
money
people
back.
from the fleet would have stole the money.
Stole the
back.
money back.
We can't leave anything behind.
We're not letting them keep that money. We stole it to begin with.
The governor's moye. Let's make him even more mad.
I'm moye because they still didn't say where he was born.
Oh,
The governor's
take
happy.
that.
He got
Well-
10,000 gold sitting here from Jean Lafitte bailing himself out. Come the next morning, there's 1 silver shilling left. With a
One
note.
left. All his
One.
consoles are gone except for
Everything's
the
gone.
ones with holes.
There's 1 left with a note. Thanks.
Yeah, I gotta wait till Christmas.
Well, if you think that pissed him off, wait for this one.
Yes.
Thanks
So-
for the money. Privateer, Jean Lafitte.
So,
Rub it in a little bit more.
yeah. Claiborne posted a bounty on Jean
Oh,
Lafitte's
dude, I
head
love this
for
story.
$500.
Is it dead or alive or just alive?
Yes.
It just says the capture. $500 for the capture of Jean Lafitte.
Dude, you gotta love this.
Please
Yeah.
let it go where
So-
I think it's going.
Lafitte got word of this. Okay, and he said, all right, parry this, ye filthy casual. I'm gonna post a bail on Governor Claiborne's head for $1,000.
Dude, that story just makes me
It's so
believe
funny.
that Jean Lafitte's from down the bayou. 'Cause that just sounds like somebody from Golden Meadow, Galliano cut
Oh,
off
yeah,
where it
you
was
want the
just
hit on
moye.
me? Well, I'll put the hit on
guess
you.
what?
Yeah.
I actually thought he was gonna get his brother to turn him in, and then later that night
Take
break
the-
out with another note.
Imagine how big of a troll you have to be to
One
just...
hundred-
Isn't that badass? That's awesome.
To double the bounty on the
double it.
governor.
Yes.
The governor can't afford $1,000, but you can.
Yep.
And dude, these flyers even ended up in New Orleans like 2 days later. They was posted all over the city. $1,000 reward for the capture of
governor.
Governor William Claiborne to be brought to Barataria Bay.
Oh, I love
Did
that.
somebody do it?
No,
Oh, come on.
no. So Lafitte obviously had a freaking Congo and some coulis, all right?
Oh, absolutely.
After the 2 bounties, it kind of just fizzled out. And in the same year, how this happened, I couldn't figure it out. But Pierre was captured by the customs agents in New Orleans, and he was arrested and imprisoned. And he did not get out for a while. For a while.
3
He
months.
got out, but it wasn't for a while.
3 months to be exact.
A couple years.
You think he was chapped for that, dude?
Chapped?
Yeah, you think he was chapped?
He probably was chapped.
Probably so.
Imagine going from living the life to being in prison
Mm-hmm.
over pirating.
Pirating.
Privateer.
As a privateer.
As a privateer.
Well, they actually didn't care if it wasn't the privateer status. It was the fact that they was like, okay, this is our contract. This is our agreement. You're going to give us this and you can keep this. And like, no, bro, we're not doing that.
We
not
keep
doing
all
that.
this, and you
That's
give
not-
it.
You're not getting any of that. We're going to keep it.
You
We gonna
want the
tell you
British
all.
stuff. I'm not
Yeah.
giving you the other
Yeah,
stuff.
this is what we agreed upon.
Yeah.
British.
We're gonna tell you
The
all
ships
exactly
from
what
every
y'all
other country in Europe, that's for me.
Should have had
What?
better lawyers.
do. Well,
Should have read the fine print.
the
Right.
big Nuck rule: two for me, one for you. Shout out Big Nut.
It's a dad tax.
It's a dad tax.
I'll give you the British, taking the other one.
Taking the other
Yeah.
ones.
What are you gonna do about it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna put a bounty on your head.
Yes. Double what you
Yeah, whatever you put, I'm double.
want.
Might even triple if you piss. me
Freaking
off.
hilarious. So, in 1814, this is whenever the British began to fully encroach on the Gulf. They were aware of Jean Lafitte and his operation going on in Barataria, and they saw Barataria Bay as the perfect entryway to access New Orleans, as well as the Mississippi River.
The gall, the audacity
I know, right?
of thinking you could just sail.
You can just come on up in here with with nothing.
Yeah, the absolute gallbladder on the
The
British.
gallbladder on the British, big,
Yeah.
big.
Typical British.
Yeah,
Want to colonize everybody.
well,
Yeah.
but they can't even say water right. Anyways, go ahead, Nick.
They can't even say water right.
Yeah.
So the British found out of the operation at Barataria. They knew what was going on. They knew how booming this stuff was. And they also were aware that Lafitte and his brother and his men were captured and arrested.
Sweet Maria.
And they was hoping that the U.S. They had ill feelings towards the U.S. government for it. They essentially wanted his help in invading New Orleans.
So the British were trying to turn
Bunch
the
of
Lafitte
meatballs.
brothers into turncoats
Yes.
and turn them against America.
Turn them against the United States.
Yes.
Because they knew they were packing. They had heavy artillery. They had a fleet. They knew. Parry this. In September of 1814, the British encroached on one of Lafitte's ships operating outside of Barataria and overpowered the crap out of it. So they took the captured ship to send him back to Barataria to meet with Jean to offer him up a deal. So they asked him if he wanted to join the British in the attack against the United States. They would offer him British citizenship, land grants, pardons on all his crimes, and repayment for the valuables that they lost in the raid that was done by the U.S. on Barataria, because they lost some stuff too. So they would repay them for all that.
Dang.
Yeah. It was a pretty good deal, and he very carefully considered it, because I mean, he is a pirate, and he was, I mean, a generous man, and showed his alliance. Obviously, we're gonna get to that, but he was mainly in the business of benefit to himself as a pirate. So regardless of where he was, who he was with, if it had benefited him, he was doing it. I don't care if he had to turn against his own country for it, he was doing it.
No honor amongst thieves.
Yes. Right. So, but in the back of his mind, I guess he still had some patriotism going on, because he did not want to give up his allegiance to the United States. So he requested a few days to think and sit on the decision. So his decision was actually already made up. He was not going to join the British. He was going to stick with the Americans. But he requested those 2 days to go to meet with Governor Claiborne in a noble effort and explain to him what happened. That, hey, dude, the British came and offered me a deal to fight with them. This is what they're planning. They coming after us. Yeah. We need to do something about it.
It's fun couillonning you, but we need to join forces.
Yeah.
Yes. At first, he didn't believe him, but Lafitte led him to believe that he still had not made a decision. So he made Claiborne think that, look, I still might join these people. I don't know yet. Because Claiborne also knew they had no navy. They couldn't even compete with the navy they had, with the fleet they had in Barataria. How in the world are they going to go up against the British ships?
One of the world's greatest naval fleets.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they knew that if Lafitte joined the British, it was over.
Oh, 100%.
It was done.
Yeah.
So Claiborne did not want that to happen. So he did anything he could to make Lafitte happy, including offer them pardons on their charges and release his brother from prison under the grounds that he escaped. Yeah, so now the U.S. had allegiance with the Lafitte brothers, and they were prepared for war. So,
War, you say?
war!
Hear ye, hear ye.
So in December 1st of 1814, General and who would be President of the United States, Andrew Jackson, made his way to New Orleans due to the British encroachment on Louisiana. Upon his arrival, though, he realized that the defenses that New Orleans had was virtually non-existent. They had, I think they had 2 ships and only 1,000 soldiers.
Dude, after you talk about the Battle of New Orleans, I have something to say.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So Andrew was not impressed with the defense of New Orleans. So he wasn't, I guess, he was not very confident in this. So 2 weeks later, Jean Lafitte ended up meeting with Andrew Jackson and offered his services to defend against the British. So
I think that meeting.
it went like this. I'll help you defend the British because I know the swamps, they don't. And I want pardons on all my crimes. If not, you don't get no help.
Yeah.
Good luck.
He essentially walked in there, Congo in his pants, and went, Piquet-Trois, this is my area right here. If nobody knows what Piquet-Trois means, go ask your grandpa. He's gonna know. I'm not saying it on here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Andrew Jackson granted his wishes. He would say, okay, that I'll give you a full pardon and any of your men who offer up to fight. So under some persuasion, the Baratarians, not all of them, but most of them, joined the fight. So in mid-December, the British began to invade the Mississippi River and through the swamplands. And all too familiar with the Louisiana coastal swamps, Lafitte was able to powerhouse
Oh,
these
100%. Guerrilla warfare, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So he suggested a line of defense in the swamps on the Louisiana coast, and Jackson granted it for him. So he pretty much became the leader of the American front lines because of where this battle was fighting, and Jackson knew that, okay, Lafitte knows this area all too well. This is where he lives pretty much. So given the setup, Lafitte was able to confuse the British ships. He was able to, outsmart them on all occasions and barrage them with heavy artillery. And to the point to where they had no choice. They could not retaliate. So they had to concede a loss to America. Yep. And that would become what we know as the Battle of New Orleans. The defense of Lafitte, or defense of the British with Lafitte and Andrew Jackson.
Yep. So one thing about the Battle of New Orleans is that the army was so small that they ended up recruiting not only Jean Lafitte, but people from down the bay.
Yeah.
Too. People from down the bay, enslaved people, Creoles, everybody. So it kind of makes me moye that, we have Jackson Square. It should be Lafitte Square. There should be a statue of Jean Lafitte there. Like, instead of just, what is it, Lafitte's Tavern?
Lafitte's Tavern in the parts of the Caribbean.
But the the bar that they have.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, you're right. It is. It's Lafitte's Tavern.
Instead of just that, like, this man is owed way
Much more than that.
Way more.
Because of the astounding victory and the noble efforts of the Lafitte brothers, on February 6th of 1815, they were granted full pardons of all their criminal charges. So they were free men. They were free, buddy. So after the battle, they essentially went on to do their own thing, still continuing the operations, the smuggling. And essentially, the U.S. looked this way, and they went this way. So they just allowed them to do whatever they wanted because they just saved the country pretty much. So we're not gonna bother them anymore. But over time, however, that Baratarian operation ended up coming to an end, and they wanted to set up shop elsewhere. So sometime between 1815 and 1816, the Jean and Pierre agreed to become spies for the Spanish during the Mexican War of Independence.
Yes.
Yeah, where did that come from? I mean, that came out, which the Mexican War of Independence was Mexico's attempt to gain independence from the Spanish Empire.
Yeah.
So, in this, Pierre was sent back to New Orleans to inform about the situation going on there, and Jean was sent to Galveston, specifically Galveston Island. Galveston Island was basically a base, in what hopes would be a base for revolutionaries from the Mexican War. It did not become that, however. They had a couple of revolutionaries that was there. They had 2 leaders. And eventually they left, and the island was pretty much under Jean Lafitte's command. So, yeah, in March of 1817, he took command of the island and pretty much began to lick his chops. because we got a potential another Barataria operation to be born right here, guys. So that was what he attempted to do. The island was pretty sparse, you know, didn't have many inhabitants, maybe local native tribes at the time that were living there. But other than that, the whole island was pretty much empty. So what he did was, in order to conduct these operations again, he forged a letter of marque from Colombia so he can, and like fake this so he can appear as he was a privateer again. But it was a forged document, so he wasn't. He did this to be able to gain followers and gain more men. Like, you guys can come do pirate activities with me legally because I'm a privateer. But he actually wasn't. So we'll get more into that in a second.
Perjury.
Yep. Over time, he created his own colony on the island and built his own structures and recruited more men. This became even bigger than Barataria. I think he had about 2,000 followers. He had over 120 structures built, and the annual revenue income was about $2 million. And in today's money, $41 million.
Good Lord.
Yep. But like all good things, it's got to come to an end at some point. So in September of 1818, a powerful hurricane completely steamrolled Galveston and ended up leaving Galveston Island like essentially fully flooded. 90% of the structures were destroyed and a lot of his men were killed. So he was forced out of the area.
Nearly desolate.
Yep. So Jean Lafitte moved on with his remaining men from Galveston, and they would continue to conduct their operations throughout the Gulf. They captured one Spanish ship that they returned to Galveston because they were still using it, I guess, as an outpost, but they were not conducting business there anymore. So they ran the ship aground on the island, and they took all the cargo, they sold some of it, and they buried some of it. But unluckily for them, American troops or American customs agents were patrolling around the area at the time and just so happened to see a giant ship just chilling on the island. Like, what in the world's going on here? So they decided to investigate and just so happened to dig where they buried the cargo.
Sounds very inconvenient.
Very inconvenient. I mean, as inconvenient as you can get right here. The American customs agents ended up discovering what the ship and what Lafitte and his men had buried, and they captured a lot of Lafitte's men and charged them with piracy. So,
Privateers.
confused at this, his men started questioning, like, bro, what the hell?
Yeah.
They were convicted of piracy. I thought we was operating legally through privateer status. Well, eventually, backed into a corner, he had to come clean and say that he was actually not a privateer. He forged that document, and they were all acting illegally as pirates. So they were pissed, as you can about imagine. So a lot of them wanted out. So he offered the men his largest ship, which at the time was the General Victoria, so they can grab all their belongings and they can take the ship and sail to wherever they wanted to leave, then to move on, be done with him. A few of the men stayed behind, though, the ones that didn't care about being pirates. They didn't care.
And they already charged him.
Right.
Yeah.
But the ones that were actually charged by the Americans, I think they were strung up and hung for it.
Yeah.
They were killed for
I
it.
think that's one of the most common ways that they would execute them was that, or put them in the cages.
Yes.
Hung up in the cages and starved to death.
Yes.
Yep.
So they sent them on their merry way in the General Victoria. However, later that night, Lafitte and the remaining men decided that they wanted the ship back. So they took off after it and they ambushed the General Victoria and they seized it. They took all the belongings. They knew what was on there. They took all the belongings. They took everything, and they returned the ship to the crew. They completely dismantled everything, and then after they was done, they gave it to them and then sent them back on their merry way.
Anything
They
that wasn't
probably
nailed
just
down.
wanted
Yeah.
the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. They could always get another ship.
Yes.
You know.
So after this, Lafitte and his men continued to raid Spanish ships in the Gulf, and they would return to New Orleans to sell all the captured cargo and what have you, continuing the same operation. However, at this time, Americans were trying to slow down the chaotic piracy that was happening in the waters at the time. So they doubled up their patrol. And they were eventually, like Lafitte and his men were eventually ambushed by the Americans in a failed attempt to raid a Spanish ship. And they were all arrested and sent to New Orleans and imprisoned and charged with piracy. I keep wanting to say
Privacy. Yeah. Piracy.
But over time, this was actually in November of 1821. The seemingly Harry Houdini incarnate escaped his cell once again and disappeared. So he eventually made his way to Colombia, where he was actually finally granted legal commission to become a privateer status. Yes. So,
Sweet Maria.
yep. In February of 1823, he was sailing off of the coast of Honduras, where he found 2 Spanish ships that caught his eye, very appealing. I want them. So he attempted to go after them. And they retreat. Those 2 Spanish ships turned around and retreated in the process. Well, something happened between those 2 Spanish captains that said, you know what? Screw this. So they turned around. Like, I'm not running. They turned around and unloaded everything they had on Lafitte and his ship. And unable to get out of this barrage, and it couldn't turn out of it, couldn't get out. He was caught in the crosshairs, and he got obliterated. And eventually, he was severely wounded that night. And our hero is believed to have taken his last breath just before dawn on February 5th of 1823. And he is believed to have been buried at sea in the Honduran Gulf.
It just makes me sad.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does.
I was very sad when I was writing this. What a heroic man.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess living that life you can't expect anything else, I guess, at some point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know. Moment of silence for Jean Lafitte.
Woody.
No.
So, but hold on now, we're not done yet.
Menno!
So as the news of his passing came to light, rumors on how he died began to spread, and people began to talk. Some people speculate that he actually died whenever his men revolted against him, whenever they found out they weren't actually privateers and they were acting under pirates. Or they say that he didn't even die. He changed his name and he went rescue Napoleon Bonaparte across the Atlantic, who had been captured by the Spanish, and freed him. But that's not. That's unlikely.
A wild adventure.
Do you want me to tell the story about the Napoleon house?
Go for it.
Okay, so the
Bonus
Napoleon
episode.
house, the Napoleon house in New Orleans used to be the mayor of New Orleans' house. And one night, the mayor and some of his friends who were pirates, they were drinking, playing a card game, stuff like that. Probably Pedro, maybe Bourré, who knows. Anyways, I digress. They start talking about it with Napoleon being exiled to his own island, stuff like that, and the pirates were going to rescue him and bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
So this is after the Battle of New Orleans and, all that stuff. So the British out. Now we just have Louisiana. So the pirates said, well, we'll bring him back, all of that, go Shanghai him from his exiled island. And the mayor's like, okay. y'all actually pull this off, I'll give him my house. I'll give him my house.
I think
So,
I've heard this story before.
What do the pirates do? Drunk as can be, they take off on their ship and they start going. You know, they bebopping, going. You know, playing their pirate shanties and everything, going. You know, they make it around Miami. They hit the Atlantic and they start making their way to the island. Well, they find out that Napoleon died. They turn around, go back to New Orleans. Everything's fine. The mayor names the house the Napoleon House. Now, the thing is, if they would have successfully done it, what the mayor was wanting to do was make Napoleon the emperor of Louisiana, and we would have seceded from the U.S. and been our own country.
Really?
So you got to think, at this time, the Louisiana Purchase, Louisiana's still almost, what, 3/4 of the country?
Of the country, yes.
You know, you got it
All the
way up north, dude.
Wisconsin and all
Yeah,
that.
all the way up to Wisconsin, going a little bit west. So we would have been our own country.
Yeah.
Yeah, but gosh. Anyways, continue.
So many decisions back then could have changed.
What a
everything.
wild time.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Just had to drop that in there.
Yeah.
But as you were.
So all the stories and the rumors spread, but eventually in 1843, even though there was no official documentation that he died, they pronounced him as dead. He was likely dead.
Yeah.
Now, I would like to know how y'all feel about this one. So I just came across this recently. More recently, evidence was discovered that he possibly faked his death. I don't know if y'all heard of that. Have you heard of that? Yeah. So, what would have ended up placing him in Lincolnton, North Carolina, under the name of Lorenzo Ferrer? Yeah, Lorenzo Ferrer. It's these two ladies, I think, that had done some research and it ended up finding hardcore factual evidence that Jean Lafitte was in North Carolina at some point. And there actually is a headstone in North Carolina titled Lorenzo Ferrer. And they actually have a sword that they found in North Carolina that was scribed the name Jean Lafitte in the sheath. They actually wrote a book on this called Jean Lafitte Revealed. I didn't read it, but
I haven't read it.
No. But they put his time in North Carolina between 1839 and 1875 when he eventually died, which that would put him at almost 100 years old. And I don't think Jean Lafitte lived to be 95 years old. I don't know about y'all, but I looked up the life expectancy in the 1800s. It was 30 to 40 years old.
Yeah.
Half of it. Not even.
Yeah. And living his life as a pirate, I don't see the man living to be 95. Or however old he would have been. 98, something like that.
Semantics.
Yeah.
Could afford whatever he wanted back then.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Had the money.
Yep. So take with that and do with it what y'all will. Now the part that I'm sure all of y'all's been waiting for, the treasure.
Yes.
It's in North Carolina.
You know what? I actually thought about this while I was doing the research. Maybe it's in North Carolina.
No one ever checked North Carolina.
Fun fact, we have not checked North Carolina. No, I mean, they only made it, illegal to go off a Grand Isle or on Grand Isle with metal detectors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know? But anyways,
so, I mean, it might be, guys, because all of the Louisiana coast and even in Galveston was scourged for this treasure, and it is still yet to be found. So, one popular television series on the Discovery Channel actually did a full episode to where they attempted to find Jean Lafitte's treasure.
were any of them trawlers?
I mean, they might have been, but I don't think they were.
I was gonna say
Because
that they were
clearly,
trawlers.
clearly they didn't find the treasure.
Yeah,
So they might not have been trawlers.
yeah.
North Carolina.
Yeah, it could be. Honestly, it could be. So, with all of that, one thing is for certain that Jean Lafitte played a very pivotal role in New Orleans, Louisiana, and the country as a whole.
Yeah,
The greatest privateer we've ever seen.
Yes.
absolutely.
I mean,
no doubt about it.
we can all sit here and say that if Lafitte had not joined the U.S. against the British in the War of 1812, then we probably would be British territory right now.
We would all be eating beans on toast.
We would
And
all
I'm
be
not
eating something
eating
else,
that.
but I don't want to see it.
Yeah. I'm not, no. We would all be eating beans on toast. We wouldn't be drinking coffee or anything like that. We'd be drinking
Spotted tea.
Yeah, we would be having spots of tea, dude.
There'd be fish and chips.
Yeah, fish and chips, bro. No, thank you.
Arguably the only
Beating
thing.
plates of
Arguably the only thing worse than Raising Cane's chicken. Hot take.
Gage.
Go somewhere
Stop.
with yourself.
Zaxby's is not better than Raising Cane's.
It is.
Right.
It's
That
all-
is essentially Jean Lafitte, guys. You know, him being known as with his nickname, the Terror of the Gulf.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it should be the pirate who saved America.